Alright, hi guys. So this is my first ever video. So you lot are the lucky ones, I guess. So what we're going to do is percentage of amounts. Now, percentage of amounts is a topic that we probably did a few months ago. So let's do a quick recap. So if you remember, what we said is whenever we're trying to work out a percentage of an amount, one of the key things to remember is that we use 10% as a base to start off. Okay, so what does that mean? So what that means is whenever you're trying to work out a percentage of an amount, you actually always start off by working out 10% and use that as a base to work out 1%, 5%, doesn't matter, because from 10% you can easily jump to any other number. So let's take as an example, I want to work out 28% of 400. So the first thing I do is I work out 10%. Always start with 10%. It's one of the easiest ways. And as most of you should know, one of the easiest ways to work out 10% is you divide the amount by 10. So 10% of 400 is 40. So 400 divided by 10 is 40. Now from 10%, what I want to do is work out how can I actually make 28%. So naturally, the next step would be to work out 20%. How do I work out 20%? I just double 10%, and just like a mirror, on the other side, I double 40. So double 10% is 28%, double 40 is 80. So I've got 20% so far, but I want 28%. So how do I get that remaining 8%? Now, some of you may have different ways of doing it, and they're all perfectly acceptable as long as you get 8%. So let's keep it simple. I want to work out 1% first, and then from 1% I can jump to 8%. So how do I work out 1%? I just divide 10% by 10 again. So if 10% is 40, 1% must be 4. And just like I did on the top over here, I use this number over here to get 8%. So how do I go from 1% to 8%? I times it by 8. So what do I do on the other side? I also times it by 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. Now, I've got everything here in order to work out 28%. I've got 20% and I've got 8%. Altogether adds up to 28%. So if 20% is 80 and 8% is 32, it must mean that 28% would be when I add these two values. So 28% would be 80 plus 32, which is 112. So therefore, 28% of 400 is equal to 112. Now, let's do another 2 examples. Let's do 63% of, let's keep it as 60. And let's do one slightly more difficult one. Let's do 42.5% of, let's say, 600. Okay, so we'll do 2 different examples, but we'll use the same method. So 63%. So what we always do is we start off with 10%. And let me do both of them side by side. So 10% of both of 60 is 6. Whereas 10% of 600 is 60. Now I want 63% on the left. So I want 60%. How do I get from 10 to 60%? I times it by 6. So therefore, over here, I'm also going to times it by 6 to get 36. Now I've got 3% left over. Is there an easy way to get from 10% to 3%? Not really. But I do know that if I can work out what 1% is, I can easily work out what 3% is. Now how would I do that? How do I get from 10% to 1%? We have to divide it by 10. So the same thing over here. If 10% divided by 10 is 1%, 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. How do I get from 1% to 3%? I times it by 3. So therefore I times it by 3 here as well. 0.6 times 3 is 2.4. And now I've got everything I need here to actually work out 63%. I've got 60% and I've got 3%, which is 36 and 2.4. If I add them together, so 63% is 36 plus 2.4, which is 38.4. So that's that one done. Now let's quickly do a slightly harder one of 42.5% of 600. Now don't let this bit put you off. It's actually very, very simple, and we still use 10% as our base. So again, I want 42.5%. I've got 10%, and let's quickly just rub this bit out so we've got a bit more space. Whoops. Didn't rub out as nicely as I'd hoped. Okay, there. There. So, if I've got 10% is 60, I want 42.5%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it down over here. I'm going to work out 40%. I'm going to work out 2%. And then I'm going to work out a 0.5%. And I'll think about how I do that in a second. So these are the three things that I need. So 42.5. So if 10% is 60, 40% would be times by 4. So I'd also times 60 by 4, which is obviously 240. Okay, now I need to get to 2%. So why don't I work out what 1% is? Just like we did on the last part, to work out 1%, if 10% is 60, 1% must be 6. So therefore 2% must be double that, which is 12. Now finally, I've got 40%, I've got 2%, what have I got left? 0.5%. Now how can I work out 0.5%? Luckily, I've got 1%. Why is that lucky? Because now all I need to do is, if I half 1, I get 0.5. So half of 1% is 0.5%. So therefore half of 6 would be the same as 0.5%. So half of 6 is 3. So I've used 1% to work out 0.5%. Now I've got everything I need to actually work out 42.5%. I've got 40%, I've got 2%, and I've got 0.5%. So if I have to work it out, I add up 240 plus 12 plus 3. So therefore my answer is 42.5% is equal to 240 plus 12, which is 252, plus 3, which is 255. So 42.5% is 255.